Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Omoti. In our today's video, we'll be drafting a bustier with Queen Anne's neckline, as you are seeing in the thumbnail. If this is what you are interested in watching, kindly watch to the very end. And please don't forget to subscribe, like and share my videos. And please kindly turn on your notification bell in case I drop any video. You'll be the first to be notified. So let's get started. This is the pattern paper. I've gone ahead to measure out the basic measurements. That's my starting point. From the starting point, I measured the bust point 12 inches. From the bust point, I measured out the under bust, which is 15 and a half, then the waist, which is 17 and a half, and I added 1 inch for sewing allowance. So the next thing to do now is to measure out my shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 14 inches. Divided by 2 will give me 7. I added half an inch for shoulder for joining the sleeve. So I've added my allowance, that's 7.5. I came down at that point by 1 inches, and I mark from the 1 inches, I mark out 8 inches to determine that your bust circumference divided by 6 points plus 1.5. So that's what I did, and I have my 8 inches at that point. So to get a unified line, I'm measuring the same shoulder line and I'm collecting the lines. So after doing that, I will be marking out the armhole that way that you're seeing me, and I will mark out the midpoint of the armhole. The midpoint I have, so I'm marking the neckline, which is 3 inches. 3 inches. I will be connecting it to the 1 inch for shoulder slope. Please don't use more than 3 inches. You can use 2.5, but don't use more than 3 inches for the neckline. So the bust I'm working with is 39. 39 divided by 4 will give me 9.75. So I'm marking my 9.75 to connect my armhole. And at that armhole, I'll be getting the midpoint, and at the midpoint I will come inward by half an inch. So I will be connecting the 3 lines with my curve ruler. After connecting the lines, the next thing to do now is to measure my nipple to nipple. The nipple to nipple I'm working with is 8 inches. Divided by 2 will give me 4 inches. Right from the bust point, I'll mark out 4 inches, the under bust 4 inches, the waistline 4 inches. Same thing as the end line. Then I will connect with a straight line. So after connecting, I'm going to take my dart from the under bust. I'll be using a 0.75 at the side. Please note, don't use more than 1 inches at the side. Don't use more than 1 inches. So, but for mine, I'll be using 0.75 at the side, at the center front, while at the side, I'll be using 1.5. I'm working with 2.2 for the dart. If you are on a smaller side, you use 1.5. Average, you use 2 inches. On a bigger, you use 3 inches. So I'm using 1.5 at the side. At the center, I'm using 0.75. So I'm doing the same thing on the waistline. The same thing I did on the under bust, I'll be doing it on the waistline. Then I will connect the lines. So for the center front, I make use of 0.75, and at the side, I make use of 1.5. So altogether, I have 2.2 at that. So from the under bust, I connected to the bust. I did the same thing to the center front also. I connected it to the bust, but I came down by 1 inch. I came down by 1 inch at that point. So from that point, the next thing to do now is to measure from the center starting point is to measure 6 inches. That 6 inches is serving as our new chest line now. 6 inches. It depends on how open you want it to look. You can use 5, you can use 5.5, you can use 6, you can even use 6.5. But as for mine, I'm making use of 6 inches and I'm connecting with a straight rule. So from that 6 inches, I'll be measuring the same dart line, 4 inches, the nipple to nipple on that point also. Be measuring 4 inches at that point because I'll be connecting the dart line to it. So I measured 4 inches and I connected it. So at that point, I will take 1 inch on both sides. That's the chest tightening over the bust tightening. So I'll be taking 1 inch on both sides, as you are seeing me doing in the video. 1 inch on both sides. So and I will connect to the bust point. As you see me doing, I will connect it to the bust point. So I've connected it. These 2 inches darts, I will be replacing it at that armhole part, because if I did not replace it, there will be a shortage at the armhole and at the shoulder. Can you see what I'm doing? I will replace it at the shoulder. I will replace 2 inches at the shoulder. I will replace it at the armhole part. Just watch what I'm doing at this point. Because if I did not do that, there will be a shortage for us. So I'm replacing 2 inches. Whatever that allowance you took from that chest point, please replace it at the shoulder and at your armhole. So 2 inches. I'm taking 2 inches. Please, your measurement should start from that half an inch. 2 inches. Then at the armhole, I'll be taking 2 inches also. So I'll now be connecting the 3 lines together. That will serve as our new armhole. So we'll not be using the previous armhole again. Just watch what I'm doing. You will understand better later. So I'll be connecting the 3 lines together. That's our new armhole. So after connecting, this is what we have. So the next thing to do is to come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. At that point, I came down by 1 inch, and at the neckline, from the 3 inches, I'll be coming inward by 2 inches. If you measure what we have from our shoulder line to that place, we'll be having 9.5 instead of 7.5. But it's because of the 2 inches that we added. So from the 3 inches, I'll be coming inward by 2 inches. And from that 2 inches now is now serving as our new neckline. Just watch closely what I'm doing. So from that point now, that 2 inches point is now our new neckline. So from that point, I'll be connecting it to the 1 inch for shoulder slope. We are not using the first measurement again. We are using the new one now. So from here, that's our new armhole now. We are not using the one we drafted before. So the next thing to do now is to, at the armhole, I'll be adding my 2 inches for sewing allowance. Be adding my 2 inches for sewing allowance at the armhole. Then at the same measurement I have at the chest armhole should be the same measurement I'll be having on the bust line. So whatever I have at the armhole, I should be having the same thing at the bust line. Then at the bust point, please watch what I'm about to do here. At the bust point, I measure what I have from the center front, from the center front to the first leg of the center front. Please watch closely. So what I have from that point to this, where I'm placing my pencil, is 3.2. Can you see? Then I will take that same 3.2 to the last leg of the side. The same thing as you are seeing me doing in the video. Let me explain once again. I'll take the measure what I have. I have 3.2. Then I'll place the 3.2 on the last leg at the side. Are you getting me? Then I'll measure that dart. I'll not be making use of the dart. Then I'll measure out my under bust. The under bust I'm working with is 30 inches divided by 4 will give me 7.5. So I have my 7.5. Then I'll be adding my 2 inches sewing allowance. I'll not be adding the dart again because I'm not measuring the dart together with the measurement. Are you getting what I'm saying? So I'll be adding my 2 inches at that point. So I'll do the same thing at the waist. Whatever I have at the waist also, I will input it without the dart allowance. Then I'll add my 2 inches sewing allowance at the under bust and at the bust. So the next thing is to connect the lines. I'll be connecting all the lines together. That point you see me drawing, please, you shouldn't have a sharp edge at that point. Try to blend it up because there is no part of our body that is sharp. Just try to blend it as you are seeing me doing. So I'll be coming down by 1.5 for our sweetheart neckline. Then I'll connect it to the first leg. If you want it more than 1.5, you can use 2. If you want it below, you can use 0.5. You can use 1 inch. But for mine, I'm making use of 1.5. Then I'm connecting it to the first leg of the dart with my curve ruler. Measure whatever you have at both legs. If you have any shortage, just add to it. As for mine, I measure both and I have the same thing. I have 6.1 on both legs. So I have 6.1 on both legs. So that the part that I'm writing, I will be cutting it off. So because we have added our 2 inches at that point. Are you getting me? So the next thing to do now is to that part also, I will be cutting that part off also. So the next thing to do is to add my shoulder allowance. I'll be adding half an inch for shoulder allowance at that point. Half an inch for shoulder allowance. Then I'll connect it with a straight line. So after connecting, please take note of this. When you are cutting on your fabric, the armhole side, I've added half an inch to it. You don't need to add any half an inch on the armhole. It's only at the center, the darts I will be cutting out at the center. Those are those places you'll be adding half an inch on both sides. Be adding half an inch. That point I'm touching, you'll be adding half an inch to the other side also. So the down part I've added sewing allowance, the shoulder I've added sewing allowance. Then the neckline also you'll be adding half an inch. That sweetheart part you'll be adding half an inch to that also, and the neckline. So that's all. Then the neckline you add half an inch to it. So the next thing to do is to create our new Queen Anne's neckline. From that point that I'm touching, that's our new neckline. So I'll be connecting it to that point. From that point I'll measure 2.5 inches. I mean 3 inches, sorry, plus half an inch for joining to the sleeve. So 3 inches at that point, and from that 3 inches I'll be connecting it to the new neckline, with a slight cuff, as you see me doing the video. Can you see I'm placing my pattern and my row? So the next thing now to do is to connect the bust dart. To take the bust dart, the difference between the front and the back is 2 inches. So from the bust dart, I'll be coming down by 2 inches. From the bust dart, I'll be coming down by 2 inches. Connect it to the bust point, as you see me do in the video. So that place, I will be cutting that place also. I'll be cutting it out. So those are the places I will be cutting out. I've shaded those parts that I'll be cutting out. So the next thing is to open the bust dart. I've gone ahead to open it and I've taped it down. Can you see that our side have shifted? So just try and blend it. I'll be blending it up. Watch what I'll be doing. So this is what you should have. It's just because of the bust dart. So this is what you should have. See that part that is popping up? Don't worry. When we open the main dart, everything will relax well. So the next thing is to cut out. Watch how I'm going to cut. I want you to take note of something here. From the measurement I measured out was 18 and a half. My waistline is 17 and a half. I added 1 inch to it. That's
Because the
18 and a
difference I
half.
have
So from
there
my starting point
between the
now, can
front
you
and
see
back
what I
is 2
have there? I
inches. So
have
from that
18
point, I will
inches.
connect to the bust
There is a
point.
shortage of half an inch. Assuming I'm cutting on my fabric, I'll be having a shortage right now. But assuming I didn't add 1 inch, I use half an inch and I use my fabric to cut, I'll be having a shortage of half an inch of joining to the down parts. Are you getting what I'm saying? Please, when you are drafting yours or you are cutting, just please add 1 inches. It's better you have excess, later you can trim it off than having shortage. So I still have half an inch and I'm still on the safer side. So the next thing to do is to cut out. Can you see the way I'm cutting it? So after cutting it, this is what you should have. So at that center, at that area, that's where you'll be adding half an inch. So I'm trying to place my tape now to see if we have the same shoulder measurement that we've measured earlier. Can you see we have our 7.5 at that point? Assuming I did not add that 2 inches to it, we'll be having shortage of 2 inches. And that means our shoulder measurement will be 5.5 instead of 7.5. Can you see? Please take note of that. When you are drafting your own, you should do the same. So our front pattern is ready. The next thing to do now is to cut the back. I've gone ahead to place a pattern for the back. I've drawn out the starting point and I've ruled out the sewing zipper allowance of 1.5. So from the starting point, I measured down the half length for the back, which is 15 and a half. I said the difference between front and back is 2 inches. The front is 17 and a half, while the back is 15 and a half. And I added 1 inch for hemming allowance at the down part. So that is 16 and a half. I have 16 and a half inches there. So the next thing to do, so I measured out 12 inches, which is serving as the bust point. What we need at the back here is the bust point and the waistline. We do not need the under bust. So the next thing to do is to mark out the shoulder measurement. Shoulder measurement I'm working with is 14 inches, divided by 2 is 7, and I add half an inch to it. That's 7 and a half. So at that 7 and a half, I came down by 1 inches. That will be serving as my shoulder slant, shoulder slope. So I measured out 3 inches, which is my neckline. So from the 1 inch, I measured out my armhole of 8 inches to determine that is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5. Mine is 8 inches. So I'm trying to measure out the shoulder measurement also, 7 and a half. Then I connect with a straight line. So after connecting, I slant the 1 inches to make the 3 inches neck line. So the next thing to do now is the zipper area. I came inward at that point. I came inward by half an inch. Can you see? I came inward by 1/2 inch from the main bodies, not the zipper area, inward by 1/2 inch, and I connected it up with my ruler. I took it up with my ruler the way you see me doing in the video. So that's our new zipper allowance. That's where our zipper allowance will be starting from. So the next thing to do is I measured out the 1.5 inches zipper allowance. From that new line, I'm taking my zipper allowance from the new line 1.5 all through to the top. Then I'll connect with my ruler. So from that new line, I'll be taking my measurement. The bust circumference I'm working with is 39 divided by 4 is 9.75. And I will look for the midpoint at the armhole, and I'll connect the 3 lines together. For the front, we came inward by 1/2 inch, but for the back, we'll just connect it that way. So after connecting the lines, this is what you should have. So the next thing to do is to take our nipple to nipple measurement. The nipple to nipple I'm working with is 8 inches divided by 2 is 4 inches. So that's what I'm taking from the waist to the bust and to the chest line. I'll be doing the same thing at that chest line area. I will take the same 4 inches and I will connect with a straight line. So from that chest line, I'll be going up by 1 inches. From the chest line, I'll be going up by 1 inches and I will connect it down to the waist. So at that waist part, I'll be taking 1.5 on both sides. 1.5 divided by 2 will give me 0.75. So I'll be taking 0.75 at both sides. 0.75 at both sides, then I'll connect it to the 1 inch point, as you see me do. So after taking our that measurement, the next thing to do is to measure out the neck depth for the back. The neck depth measurement I use is 1.5. Neck depth is 1.5, while the width is 3 inches, and I connected it. So the next thing to do is to measure my bust, and whatever that intake I use, I will measure it, then I will mark my 2 inches sewing allowance. The same thing at the waist line. The waist I'm working with is 29.5 divided by 4 will give me 7.4 plus 1.5 inches that allowance. I will measure that, then I will add my 2 inches sewing allowance also. So at the shoulder, I'll be adding 1/2 inch at the shoulder for joining the shoulder. Then I'll connect with my ruler. So our back is ready. The next thing is to cut it out. I will not be cutting out the dart. I'll be closing it this way with my tape. I've taped it down. This is how it should look like. When you cut on your fabric, this is how it will be looking like on your fabric. Can you see how neat this is coming out already? So the back pattern is ready. I will be placing the back pattern on and the front together. Can you see? The armhole is aligned. The side also, they are the same. Can you see? If you cut your pattern very well, this is what you should have. Can you see the difference of 2 inches that we have? That's because the front half length and the back half length are not the same. So at this point, kindly give this video a thumbs up, like and share my videos, and please turn on your notification bell in case I drop a new video. Thank you. I will see you in my next video.